1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 4.
Hello, I am Be Better Gamer. Welcome to Be Better Gamer Wrestling, the channel dedicated to wrestling video games fueled by my love and obsession, honestly. I would say passion, but it's a little bit of an obsession of wrestling and video games. Thank you for clicking on this video. Thank you for watching. I am playing Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, and I am bringing you my own Dynamite Kid CAW. Create a Wrestler. Dynamite Kid made 100% in-game, no mods, no anything. There are some really cool Dynamite Kid mods out there. Maybe I'll be able to showcase them one day. Bringing you 4 different outfits, and as always, the profile, parameters, fighting style, moves, all that stuff is typed up in a template down below in the description. So click on that for the full call. But I'm going to go over in this video, I'm going to go over the appearance and what I chose. And I'm playing around with this one. This is a follow-up to my Dynamite Kid No Mercy call that I did recently. So check that out if you have WWF No Mercy. There's Tiger Mask. We're going to get to that in a little bit. Tiger Mask, his rival. I don't think I've been able to choose rivals for any of my calls yet. Dynamite Kid is the first one I can choose for a rival. His moveset is pretty much exactly what you saw in WWF No Mercy. Not really many. I did change a few moves because I realized I left some moves out. Gave him the big tombstone pile driver. So yeah, it's a follow-up of my WWF No Mercy call. Check that out. I also did a WWF No Mercy tag team Let's Play with the British Bulldogs, so check that out if you want to hear about my own personal relationship as a fan to the British Bulldogs and Dynamite Kid. But here we go. Head 1, face 64, front hair 8. That's like the shaven head look. That's the closest you can get. You could make him bald, but doesn't look well in my opinion. Body size 3, skin tone 0. His ring attire is C7, which I think is the Vader tights, and light blue and white, so 14 and 2 for his ring attire. Upper body A8, which is also Vader, and I made them both light blue. You can barely see the Vader time words there on his shirt. You give him black knee pads, and then A25, his white boots with the socks, because Dynamite Kid and a lot of British wrestlers had the boots with the socks coming out. That was just kind of their thing, right? Pretty cool look if you ask me. And then his second outfit is basically a duplicate of the first outfit, but he's wearing red boots this time, and he's got the blue socks. You know, big deal, nothing crazy. You could play around with these outfits, and I'll show you later what I mean by that. So here, give him a little bit more hair. His hair's a little bit more grown out. Dynamite Kid has so many different looks when it comes to just his hair alone. But his outfits are pretty basic. So there, I changed it to hair 3. Same color, well, color is brown actually. The other one was 0. This one's like 3, the later brown. And then C7, 14 and 2. So again, going with the light blue. And he wears wristbands here. He didn't have wristbands in the other outfit. Same boots, same knee pads. Yeah, just keeping it, you know, I'm unifying the themes. All these outfits are basically inspired by his matches with Tiger Mask, and I'll get into that a bit. And here, so I'm playing around with the hair. This is what I meant earlier, that I'm playing around with different styles of hair here, because you could do short hair, you could do the long hair over here, but it looks kind of flat. And then you could do the over the ears here. I went with this kind of hairstyle because there was at one point that he did have his hair out pretty lengthy, and it had sort of this, you know, it had a lot of volume to his hair. So I guess that was the closest I could do with it. And then it's basically his upper body and lower body are basically reminiscent of the first costume I made with Dynamite, that you just saw with Dynamite Kid. And then I gave him the white elbow pad here. This is very reminiscent of his 5-star match with Tiger Mask that you can see on New Japan World if you have it. New Japan World has pretty much all the matches with him and Tiger Mask, I think with the exception of one. I could be wrong, I think they have all of them. But there you go, that's how I've made him. These are the outfits I chose, but again, you can play around like I mentioned earlier. So you can go back, you can give him a red outfit. You know, he wore red, sort of reminiscent of his time in WWF, but he also early on in his career around the 80s, which is where I'm basing his costumes off of. He also wore red. You can even do the same with his long outfit, and even keeping the long hair, you can just make it red. And once again, just make both colors red for the upper body Vader tank top or tank top, I guess. Singlet, that's what I'm looking for. And then the words would disappear. So you can do that. You can also give him just short tights. At one point he wore short tights. But he, very simple style of attire. So let me know what you think. As always, this is just a guide. This is not really like, oh, you have to make them this way, the perfect Dynamite CAW. Let me know what changes you've made to it. What alternate outfits you've created, what adjustments you've made it. If you chose a different face, chose a different hairstyle. I always love seeing when people take my CAWs and either make them fully or recreate them in their own image. That's the beauty of these games. There's not one right way or wrong way to make a CAW. It's really your own interpretation. What you see, it could be best represented in this game. And I'm playing the Japanese version of Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, even though I said I'm going to be moving to the EverDrive for all my Aki N64 games, but I already had Tiger Mask unlocked in this game, so I needed to do Dynamite Kid versus Tiger Mask. And once again, if you want to just go and make the call now, go ahead. You can check in the description below. I am done telling you how to make the call. Right now I'm going to play a match. I always play a match after my call so you can see it in action. You can see the moves and you can see my best attempt at sort of doing justice to the feud, the amazing feud rivalry that was Tiger Mask and Dynamite Kid. I mean, if you haven't really seen their matches or heard about this feud, do yourself a favor, look it up. You can look it up on YouTube, you can look it up on Daily Motion. If you have New Japan World, like I said earlier, all the matches are on New Japan World. In my opinion, a lot of them still hold up because they don't hold up now as much as they did back then in terms of, the moves that they were doing and their performance. But you have to remember, they were doing it before anyone else was doing it. Their match looks like a very tame version of what wrestling looks like today. But back then, they were innovating it. That was the first of its kind. What they were doing, the way that the pace they moves, the speed they moved at, the moves they were doing, the high flying stuff between Tiger Mask and Dynamite Kid, mixed in with the grappling, mixed in with the submission, mixed in with the brawling, the intensity that was there, the emotional developments of the match. It's something that laid the groundwork to what modern wrestling is today. When I mean modern wrestling, I mean not just in WWE, but outside of WWE as well. Wrestling, all the wrestlers that you see today can all point to their early influences, and their early influences were guys like Dynamite Kid, like Tiger Mask, and it definitely shows when you go back and watch the matches. Yeah, okay, you look at it and it's like, all right, I've seen all this stuff before, but back then the crowd didn't see it before. One perfect example, most of the matches they fought were in Japan, but there was a match at the Garden during WWF time because Dynamite Kid would fly back between WWF and New Japan at the time, and New Japan had a working relationship with WWF. Tiger Mask was actually the WWF Junior Heavyweight Champion, not to be confused with the Light Heavyweight Championship. And that's the title they feuded off of. And there's one match between them at Madison Square Garden. And I don't know if it's the first time the fans at Madison Square Garden has seen Tiger Mask. I don't know if this is his debut at MSG. It could be, it could not be. But, I mean, you could definitely tell that they were extremely impressed and captivated by what was going on. And it wasn't even a long match, and it wasn't the best match of their series, but because no one was doing what they were doing, they instantly grabbed the audience's attention, and the audience was very much invested with the match. So watch it in that context, I would say. I talk a lot about the historical context, and when I was playing WWF No Mercy and doing my British Bulldogs Let's Play, I talked about how the British Bulldog style also was very innovative, and they influenced a lot of tag teams and a lot of modern day tag team wrestling, that if you were to go into a time machine and take them out of the 80s and bring them into now, I think they would still be one of the top tag teams. Dynamite Kid would still be one of the top wrestlers of all time, because he was ahead of his time. The British Bulldogs were ahead of their time, and it's unfortunate, I talked about it in my Let's Play. I talked about a little bit in my Dynamite Kid CAW when I made him in No Mercy. Dynamite Kid unfortunately had a lot of demons, if you will. He was an alcoholic, he had heavy drug abuse, heavy steroid abuse, and a lot of the drugs, alcohol, and steroids contributed to his physical state that he is in today, where he's confined to a wheelchair. He can barely move and talk. You know, it's a very sad story, you know, the tragic tale of Dynamite Kid. But you know, when you think about it, and I talked about this in my Let's Play, you know, you gotta believe that part of it, not all of it, you know, he makes his own choices, but part of it probably had to do with him trying to survive at a time where guys like him, his size, weren't given the main event scene. They weren't given the spotlight. And you go and you watch those Tiger Mask matches and his matches in Japan, you know, that was his opportunity to shine. That was his opportunity to show the world, to show everyone what he was capable of, what he and Tiger Mask were capable of. And it took a long time, and we're still kind of getting there in a way. You know, I mean, obviously a lot has changed in wrestling, but you know, guys like a Dynamite Kid can make it to the, you know, prime time, can make it to the top. But you know, it's still not as easy as it should be, you know, but I mean, that's life, right? You know, but as Macho Man would say, the cream always rises to the top. Ooh yeah, the cream of the crop. And Dynamite Kid was one of the perfect examples of that so many years later we can still look back at his work in the ring and praise it. You know, his stuff outside of the ring, you know, we don't really talk about a lot because unfortunately he wasn't as nice outside of the ring, but his stuff in the ring, go back and watch it. I mean, do yourself a favor if you're a wrestling fan, if you've never seen it. And that's why I wanted to make him in Virtual Pro Wrestling too, because, you know, I mean, what better, like I mentioned earlier, what better rival to have than Tiger Mask? You know, that feud is legendary. And I would say when you watch those matches, watch it in the context of a story being told over the course of those matches. You know, it was Tiger Mask's debut against Dynamite Kid. You know, he had this really jank looking mask that Dynamite Kid wrote about in his book that Tiger Mask was very uncomfortable with, and he was very nervous. And you could kind of tell in the match. You can kind of tell in the match that Tiger Mask was kind of nervous, and they missed a few spots. But as the matches went on, they got more and more comfortable with each other. And the major story really is that Dynamite Kid could not beat Tiger Mask. And they were equals, they were rivals, but Tiger Mask always seemed to, like, just at the last minute do something to win. And it just got under Dynamite Kid's skin leading up to the final match, which is just like this crazy intense spectacle of a match that gets like stopped and restarted several times. And at one point Dynamite Kid grabs a bottle from outside and breaks it because he can't beat Tiger Mask. And it's such great storytelling that, and they managed to weave in their you know, acrobatics and their agility and all of their technique into this personal feud. And I think that's what still holds up today, is that rivalry we don't really see anymore. We don't really see a rivalry of two people who, it's not that I hate you because you called me a name. It's like, I hate you because I can't beat you. And we are equals. Everyone says we're equals, but for some reason you just always get the best of me, and I need to beat you. It burns my soul to beat you. Those rivalries hardly exist in today's wrestling, and it's refreshing to see that story told over the course of several matches. Here I go. I'm going to set him up with the big tombstone power driver and the flying headbutt. There's also some other fun matches on YouTube that you can find with Dynamite Kid in Japan, teaming up with Davey Boy Smith, facing the second Tiger Mask. A lot of cool stuff, but check those out. Check out my WWF No Mercy Let's Play. Check out my WWF No Mercy CAW, and have fun with Dynamite Kid, one half of the original British Bulldogs. And let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you have any memories of watching Dynamite Kid, what you think of the Dynamite Kid Tiger Mask feud. If you've never seen those matches before, if you've rewatched them dozens of times like I have, let me know. You know, I was a big Dynamite Kid fan back in the day, and it was definitely a walk down memory lane doing research for all these Dynamite Kid videos. So I hope you have fun with this call. Check out everything else, my other Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 calls, No Mercy calls, WrestleMania 2000s, Let's Plays, all that jazz is on my channel in nice, neatly organized playlists for you to find. And until next time, thank you for watching. I am Be Better Gamer. Keep watching all the wrestling.